I'm gonna hit record, and now we'll fill for another minute or two just to make sure that it starts recording.
This is what it sounds like when I fill, because I'm fighting the urge to be quiet, because for years it was be quiet, and I'm not supposed to be quiet, I'm supposed to fill like this, like when I'm filling it with my words, and I just keep talking, and
I'm
I
so
keep
glad you
talking.
said words there. When you said I'm filling it with my, I was like, Brian, no. He's filling it with his big, throbbing words.
Oh.
Not sure what's on your mind.
You know what's on my mind.
Georgia? Is Georgia on your mind?
No, but she's on a lot of people's minds here lately.
Stay on target.
Stay on target. What's on my mind is the same thing that always is on my mind, and it's ice cream.
Oh.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said puppies. Kittens.
I thought he
kittens more than puppies, but no.
Because he got interrupted, it almost sounded like he was saying pie. So
not a big pie guy. I much prefer Avogadro's number.
We're gonna be covering Avogadro's number next week in chemistry.
Really? I didn't think you could fit anything over that.
And his number.
With what, a tarp?
So I realized that we were going over the ideal gas law yesterday, and I'm going, dang it, I didn't cover moles. I didn't do moles before we started doing that, because you have to convert grams to moles in questions, and I'm going, dang it, I did the chemistry stuff in the wrong order again. My problem is
this a problem?
I'm trying to streamline it. I'm trying to make the chemistry stuff so it kind of flows into one another. But the problem is, chemistry is sort of like physics, where, yeah, you can start somewhere, but at no point are you going to have a linear path where you can go from A to B to C to D and go all the way to Z and not hit something where you're like, I really wish we could fit T between C and D, because that really explains why D does what it does. And chemistry, unfortunately, is that way. And so I've been playing this semester with trying to figure out what is the best order I can do things in, and just realize that, you know what, I just need to stop messing this up, and I just need to go in the book order, because the book order is just, after thousands of years, it feels like that I've been going through this book and going, well, maybe I can do this and this, that the book order was just the right order to go in the first place. Because when you do it that way, you will hit things where you can just be like, okay, we'll build off of this, dummy. And so, yes, I'm realizing
Dirk over here trying to reinvent the wheel.
I'm trying to invent the wheel so it's better, only to find out that, if you make the wheel square or octagonal, it still doesn't do what a circular wheel does.
Also, I know this isn't a video podcast, but when the words chemistry is sort of like physics came out of Dirk's mouth, I made a horrible face. You know that face when you're walking along somewhere and you see 5 people coming towards you without a mask, and then you smell like dog crap? I made that face. That, ugh.
Well, whenever you're talking about
physics.
Do what?
You go to hell,
chemistry
Mike.
is just a field of applied physics.
You go to hell, Mike.
Just like physics is a field of applied mathematics.
That is accurate.
Mathematics is a field of applied philosophy.
Now you go to hell twice. Anyway, okay, now that we've been recording for 4.5 minutes because Dirk decided to go off, let's start the podcast.
Oh, Dirk, is there
I swear to God.
Dirk, is there a chance that you're going to have to be going early?
No.
Okay. All right.
Brian's like, oh no, it's just me.
I found a video, and meant to share earlier, and I'll just drop it in the Discord later. I was going to drop it in now if Dirk thought he'd be leaving, before everybody else. But otherwise, I'll wait. Okay?
Okay, then. So, here we go. Now everybody shut up. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 604 of the Mana Pool, and I apologize. We were supposed to do 604 last week, but as it turns out, what was the storm?
Suck.
Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta came through. This is the first time that I can remember a hurricane coming through North Carolina, as far inland as we are, from the Gulf, and causing this much mayhem here. Like,
it happened last year with Michael.
Did Michael cause that much problem here?
Yeah, it was the one that came through like a freight train, and just was like, because everyone was like, "Oh, it's just a fast mover," and it came through and like knocked out the power and did all of that stuff. Because it was Michael, and what was the other one? Was it Matthew? Matthew's the one that came off the coast. And Michael's, I think, the one that came up the Gulf Coast. And it just plowed. I mean, it came through in like 6 hours, but it left like nobody was prepared. And the ground was so saturated anyway that it just knocked over all the trees.
Maybe this is the first one in recent memory that's affected me directly then. That could be it.
Chewy, how long were you without power thanks to Zeta?
Let's see. So I woke up on Thursday morning, and a cute neighbor chick had mentioned something about, like, possibility of tornadoes. So that was on my brain. So when I woke up the next morning before my alarm went off, I was laying there in the bed, and I heard, like, through the window to my right, and then I heard the front door make a noise to my left. And I went, that's almost certainly not good. So I jumped up and came in here to turn off the computer, because I never shut off the computer. I always just put it to sleep, right? And I was like, I should probably shut off the computer. So I sat down here and I shut off the computer, and I leaned back in my chair and looked down at my phone, and the Switch, which is sitting right here, the Nintendo Switch, made a noise. Like right then, like immediately. Thank you for the resub, Saint Saigal. Hell yeah, 20 months. And I looked over at the Switch and I went, why did you just make a noise? Are you haunted? And it was sitting in its dock and it was on. And I'm like, that's really weird. And then I got a text message from Cute Neighbor Chick that said something like, damn it. And I was like, what? She's like, the power's out? And I went, it is? She's like, what are you doing? So apparently, I shut my computer down, and like 4 seconds later, the power went out. And that's why the Switch made a noise. So that was neat. So then, we had no power the rest of the day and the night. Actually went out to Target and bought candle. It's an apple cinnamon candle. It's delicious. And I got extra batteries for my other little light thing. And I spent a lot of time just sitting around and reading and stuff. It was nice. And standing outside with the neighbors. Yeah, it was nice. And then I woke up the next day. We still didn't have power. And I went to see the old man to borrow a cooler to put what little bit of stuff I had in my fridge on ice. And this was about, it started, by the way, the power went out just before 10:30. It was like 10:20 or something on Thursday morning. And I actually still have the email. Hang on. I was sitting on the couch reading Jurassic Park. And at, yeah, this one. At 7:33, that's not right. 7:33 p.m. that's not right because this is the first one I got later. Okay, never mind. But at some point, before I went to go DoorDash on Friday, so it was probably around 3:30 maybe, my phone lit up and I picked it up and it was an email from Duke Energy that said, hey, you're going to have power by 11:45 p.m. November 3rd. Friday, by the way, was October 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, well, that sucks. Oh, well. And I put the phone down and I went back to my book. And then I heard the gargoyle, one of my neighbors, the busybody, outside singing Whoop There It Is. And I went, why in God's name is Tasha singing Whoop There It Is? And I looked over at the power brick for the 360 and it had an orange light.
Ooh.
And I said, wait, what? And I reached up over my head and flipped the light switch and the light came on. And I said, huh, cool. So 5 minutes after I got that email, I had power. And I flipped the light back off and I went back to reading my book. But we were without power for, was it 29 hours? Which isn't bad, all things considered. It could have been a lot worse. 30 wait. How long is it from 10? Yeah, about 5 hours. So yeah, roughly 29 hours-ish, give or take. I think. Math is hard. I don't freaking know. And then we played Among Us on Friday night on stream because I had power again. Yay! By the way, that's a thing we do. Manipool Community plays Among Us on stream on Friday nights. And then on Saturday nights, we do the watch party. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can join us for the watch party, by the way. Okay, just throwing out that out there. So hi, I'm Chewy. I'm the lead dork. And I have power again, so we can do a podcast. Yay!
Yay!
And I have these other dorks here, too.
Huzzah!
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler, tangent master of the group. I was fortunate enough to never actually lose power, so yay.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And I also was fortunate enough not to lose power, but several people at work were not so fortunate, so their day was kind of messed up.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And my power flickered at one point, which shut everything off twice. I take that back. It happened twice. And the power would just, like, it would do like a cursory flicker occasionally, and then that was it in terms of us. It was annoying because it happened, I think, like during school-ish time. And so it was, it did happen. It happened, and I told the kiddos we were going asynchronous that day because at that point I had gotten messages from about a quarter of my students saying I have no power. And I had people trying to join my Zoom call, and I was like, okay, I wrote down you were here. Now I'm going to make this stuff asynchronous go away. It's more or less what I didn't tell them that, but that was the hint and implication I was giving them.
But, like, yeah, and a bunch of people were like, oh my god, I hope you dorks are okay. I'm like, it's just me. Like, the other dorks are all fine. It's just me. Damn it. But oh well. So, let's talk about what we were going to talk about last week, shall we?
Yes.
Let's shall.
So, because Never-Ending Preview Season is totally a thing, although apparently they ended today.
Yeah.
So that's neat. We have the full set here to look at. Commander Legends is coming soon. And other than the few cards that people have dropped in the Discord server or have exploded Twitter, I have seen like none of these.
I have seen, my guess is about a third. At one point last week, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't checked this, and so I kind of went through what was the card image gallery at the time, and I'm like, oh neat, because I love the. We've been a little down about things lately for obvious reasons, but I like this as a concept. I like Commander. I love to draft, so I approve the effort. And there's some neat stuff to see here. So, what is Commander Legends? Is it standard legal?
No.
No.
Oh,
Commander
you're not
Legends is
asking
this
because you
year's.
don't know. You're asking to set up the discussion.
Yes.
I was like,
Somebody.
no, it's not. What
I'm
the
like,
hell is wrong with you? Okay.
here's a ball. Somebody pick it up and take it over there. Maybe.
Commander Legends is this year's draft innovation product, like Conspiracy, Battle Bond, Unstable, Conspiracy 2, and something else I'm forgetting, I think.
Conspire harder, I guess. So, okay. And it's meant to be drafted, and then you play a game of Commander.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah, with some concessions to the regular Commander deck building rules to account for the fact that you're drafting, and it's going to be pretty much impossible to build a 100 card singleton deck while drafting.
Yeah. They're saying to do a 60 card minimum, and that not only is doable because of the size of the packs, but it's also a format that people know, like, okay, I put in X lands and I have this ratio of creatures or whatever. And yes, you are allowed to have more than one copy of a card in the deck, because they said they were testing it, and they're like, it made drafting really weird when you're like, this is a great card, I already have one of it. So yeah. And you select your commander, and yes, your deck can only consist of the color or colors in your commander or commanders color identity. And why do I put a plural on there, Mike?
Because they brought back the partner mechanic for this set, also to make it a little easier to build decks.
Yes. They found that in testing that partner solved so many of the problems with drafting, where it made it a lot easier to make sure that you were able to play the cards that you draft, without just being stuck on one commander, and you pick a mono white commander and you stop seeing white cards. That sinks. Also, how many cards do you, when the pack of cards comes around to you, how many cards do you take? One?
I don't remember.
You take two.
Okay.
So, like, when you draft normally, you open the cards, you pick one, pass, pick one, pass. This is you pick two and pass them, just to try to help with the consistency. So, that's the setup. Here's the cards. How do you want to approach this? Because
all right,
we have them all here.
Shut up.
Nope.
We're starting with one card in particular.
Okay.
Because, okay, Dirk, question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked at much of this set?
Only the very first card.
Okay, good. Dirk,
Yes.
do you remember, oh so long ago,
Maybe.
there was a prediction you made about a tribe that was coming?
The salamanders?
Yes.
The time of the salamanders.
So, Dirk, do me a favor. In gold, I want you to scroll down
Long way.
Gore Muldrak.
That's Gor.
Or Muldrak. Amphinologist? Amphinologist?
Yeah, because the salamanders were called the Amphin.
Oh, okay.
In what set was that? That was a core set, right?
Time Spiral, I think.
No, I think it was a core set. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure it was a core set.
well, tell us about Gore.
So Gore Muldrak, Amphinologist.
There you go.
For 1 green and blue, He's a 3/2 legendary creature, human scout that's rare. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token.
And the flavor text. The flavor text.
The day of reckoning is coming. Knowledge of the anthem may be our only refuge.
I'm not
I love
sure.
it.
I'm not sure why somebody's like, the end times are here. Look to the salamanders. Weird flex, but okay.
I think the story is that there's some kind of amphin uprising, and unless we learn enough about them, we're just going to get overrun.
By the way, it was M12. And there was the Amphin Cutthroat, a 2/4/4 common creature. Is that all?
Yep.
And then in M15, there was an Amphin Pathmage. That's the only word Amphin. Let's do an advanced search.
For salamander?
Subtype Salamander. Search, because this set isn't in freaking Gatherer yet, so that's good. Come on, Gather, quit being a pile of balls. So the 2 Amphins, and nope, just a bunch of old cards. Whoa, apparently the Wormfang Newt is a Nightmare Salamander now? Hang on, click.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Nightmare Salamander Beast. Oh.
Nightmare Salamander Beast.
Well, I'm glad none of you put money on me for this.
What? We would have just won big.
Yeah,
'Cause-
about what? 12 years later?
Aren't there other... Yeah, there are other Amphin... And, well, there's at least one other Amphin in the set in blue, the Amphin Mutineer. I haven't looked at creature types past that, but look at that. So many people, by the way, Dirk, pointed that one out. They're like, oh man, I can't wait for Dirk to see this. He was right.
Well, Chewy, I know you haven't looked at a ton of cards, but if we're just kind of bouncing around a little bit, have you seen Nevinero? Nevinero, the Lord of the Disc.
Nevinero?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't actually read what he did, but he showed up in the Discord server, and I read the name and went, I'll be damned.
Well, why don't you read the rest of them? He's in gold.
So, Nevinero, Herborg Tyrant. Which, that's Larry Niven backwards, by the way, in case you didn't know.
I did not know that.
He's a science fiction writer. He's the guy with the disc. But it's for 3, a white, a blue, and a black. He's a legendary zombie wizard. He's a 3/6. Okay. He has hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Okay, hang on. Hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Okay, got it. I had to wrap my brain around what that means because it's been so long since...
Can't be the target of sources with those types that your opponents control.
Correct. So when he enters the battlefield, you create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature for each creature that died this turn. Oh. Okay, so you play him after you kill stuff.
You play him after you blow up the disc.
Yeah. And then when Nevinero dies, you may pay 1 mana. When you do, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Oh.
Oh my god.
Well, there is that.
I did not know this, but there was a little story blurb about him in an article last week, and apparently the disc was his phylactery. He was a lich, and basically when he knew that he was going to die, he was like, okay, everybody goes down with me. So he blew up his own phylactery. That's pretty hardcore.
Damn.
So yeah, I saw that and I'm like, right. Mike, have you looked at a whole lot of these? Is there something that stands out to you?
I've looked at some. There's one that I'd been wondering about for a long time that happens to be right next to Nevinero.
Okay.
Liaison, Shroud of Dusk. So in the Innistrad story, there were stories of another angel among the sisters, among Sigarda, Gisela, and Bruna,
Right.
that Avacyn killed after Avacyn was created and came to protect Innistrad. Avacyn killed the other angel because the other angel in their flight communicated with the monsters and demons and other scary things running around Innistrad. So Liaison, Shroud of Dusk, for 2 white, black, a legendary angel, 5/5, with flying and lifelink. Some neat stuff going on. Rather than pay 2 mana for each previous time you've cast the spell from the command zone this game, pay 2 life that many times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And
another ability, whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life.
yeah, that's
Huh.
Yeah, so a 5/5 flyer with lifelink that can, as a commander, never gets more expensive in mana, which is neat, especially for something so aggressive.
Yeah, I think this one has a lot of potential because, especially that symmetrical effect on the board, it feels a little bit like who's the red black one? The really angry guy, that punishes opponents for casting spells.
Oh, Kerbeck.
There we
Kerbeck plays a little bit like that, except this also hits you. It doesn't hit for as much, but it can really build up. And this is a commander that will change how everyone plays the game, or may just make you a huge target. But that that in and of itself can be
yeah. And if this is your commander, you built to be ready for this.
One would certainly hope. How much does she cost?
5.
Just 5? Yeah. 5. A 5/5 with flying and lifelink, even with no other relevant abilities, is already going to be like, seems pretty good. But then, yeah. So, one commander I saw, there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I'm like, that's interesting. The Timmy and me loves this. And side note, I was a big fan of the partner mechanic when it first came out, and it only came out on like 10 guys. And I was already trying to be like, okay, what is this plus this plus this? This plus this equals what? Now that we have a ton more, I love that. But I thought this guy is hilarious. And he may not be a demon, but I think he's going to kill Mike when he plays him. This comedic genius. This is also in gold. And for 2 and a black and a red, he's a legendary imp. He's a 4/3 with flying for 4 mana, and he's hilarious. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life.
Wait, where are we?
Blim in gold.
BLIM.
Yeah.
Blim. Okay.
Blim.
I zoned out for a minute. I just realized you were reading a card and I hadn't scrolled. I was like, wait, what?
Okay. So for 4 mana, 4/3 flyer. When he hits a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Sounds like a bad thing for you. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. That's hilarious. Mike, don't do it. You're gonna do it, aren't you?
Yeah, why not? It's great. It'll be funny to watch.
Mhm.
I find it interesting to build around his constraints, and I like how it also kind of just randomly punishes the Memnarch, like, oh, look at me, I'm just gonna take everybody's stuff guy. Because, that guy, there's nothing wrong with that type of deck, but it's good to have a, like, you can't get away with that every time kind of thing. The one that turns everything into artifacts, steals them all, or uses a ton of bribery effects to basically play your deck for you. Yeah. Yeah, let's hurt that guy. So, fun all around. Blim. He looks like he's probably from Rakdos.
That is totally a comedic genius.
Yeah. So what else we got? We kind of started with Dirk. Is there something else you've seen, Dirk? Or should we point something out to you?
Um. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really look through any of this stuff.
Okay.
Wait.
Was it Nimrus?
Is it what color?
She's
Just
in
gold.
gold. She's a high, right beside of the Herborg Tyrant. Like we're essentially finishing out that row.
Oh, okay.
Nimrus Unas Trickster for 3 blue black. She's a 1/6 legendary fairy knight that's rare with flash and flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep. Definitely allows you to do everything during other people's turns kind of deck. I missed that she was a knight.
So did I.
Cool.
So we should talk about Hans, shouldn't we?
We should talk about Hans. Hey Hans, are you gonna run?
So, does everyone remember Safi Eriksdotter?
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
She of Lurgoyf fame.
yeah. If anyone doesn't know, the original flavor text on the original Lurgoyf is "Ach, Hans, run! It's the Lurgoyf!" And it was Safi Eriksdotter, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got Safi a long time ago.
I think Time Spiral.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
that block. Mm-hmm.
And so now we get Hans Eriksson, because Eric's son, Eric's daughter, Get it?
Yep.
It's a naming convention thing.
It is.
So Hans Eriksson for 2 a red and a green is a 1/4 human scout. A lot of human scouts on this row. Hans is very strange. Whenever Hans Eriksson attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, defending player, or a planeswalker they control. So when it says defending player, it means whoever Hans is attacking. Otherwise, if it's not a creature, put that card into your hand. When you put a creature card onto the battlefield this way, it fights Hans Eriksson. And the flavor text is glorious. Hans is happily smelling a nice pretty flower, and he says, "Nothing could ruin such a fine day, Safi." And I think in the background of the art, you can see Safi pointing with a look of fear on her face.
She's shouting and pointing at something, yes.
Possibly the Lurgoyf. Or doesn't Revenant also have the same? Isn't Revenant like not again by
Excuse me.
Safi?
By Hans.
Oh, by Hans.
Yeah.
Poor guy just can't catch a break.
So yeah,
It
Hans is neat.
is the sword in Jared's art. Is that supposed to be Blackblade?
Who the hell is Jared?
I
Jared.
can't. I can't remember Jared Catalian's story.
Oh, is this somebody we've
Oh.
seen before?
Yeah, it's a
I-
recurring character in Magic lore, not in like cards, but in like books and whatever. But I can't remember his deal.
I was trying to figure out if that was Blackblade or not. I know we've seen other mystical swords, but I have actually not read this guy, so I'm going to read him on the spot. Jared, somebody, True Air, for a red, a green, and a white. So that's Naya colors. He's a 3/3, so he's a 3/3 for 3 human warrior. When he enters the battlefield, target opponent becomes the monarch. Target opponent becomes the monarch. That's interesting. You can't become the monarch this turn. There's a number of other cards in the set that are like, hey, you become the monarch. This is the first one I've seen that is like somebody else is the monarch. If damage would be dealt to Jared while you're the monarch, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on it? Wow. Says
Yeah.
he's the true heir, so he's supposed to be the king somewhere.
Yeah,
then-
his weird mechanic is the story beat. You know, once you finally take back the crown, then he's awesome.
Yeah,
The
but you got it
he's
makes
a
you
character
wait
from
just a minute.
the old Armada comics. Shadow Mage, Wayfarer, and apparently Magic the Gathering Battle Mage, that terrible game, the PC game. So yeah, he's not from the cards, he's from comics.
Okay, well, it's kind of nice. I like it. That could be interesting. Returning mechanics in this set. There are a handful that reference the Monarch mechanic. There is a new mechanic. It's not going to show up on a commander though, so we can keep covering these awesome legendary creatures for the time being.
Trying to scroll to one quickly to find one with the new mechanic, the Encore mechanic. Where is one? Dang it! Does it not show up in every color?
I don't think it does. I think it's
Okay,
mostly.
I found one in green. The Fin Clade Fugitives.
Oh, that's the other salamander.
Yeah, but these are Simic Salamander people, not Amphin, so they're kind of cheating.
Lame.
Yeah.
Boo.
So the Encore mechanic is a way to get another use out of a creature from your graveyard, kind of like Unearth, except more so, because this is meant to be a multiplayer type way to play the game, as Commander often is. So Encore, it has some cost. You pay the cost and you exile the creature card from your graveyard, and then you make a token copy for each opponent, for each of your opponents. And this turn, that token copy attacks that opponent this turn if able. You know, they also get haste to make it work. And then you sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. And it's a sorcery speed ability. So the Fin Clade Fugitives, for 5 and a green, 7/4 common elf salamander rogue. And the Fin Clade Fugitives can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. And there are several Encore creatures. Oh, I didn't get the Encore cost. The Encore cost is 4 and a green. So for 5 and exile it from your graveyard, you get some token copies to attack your opponents. And you'll find a lot of these Encore cards with special things that are related to combat or special things that happen when they die. Because the token doesn't get exiled at the end of the turn, you actually sacrifice it, which is an important distinction.
Excuse me.
And I believe that's the only completely new mechanic. Is that correct?
That is the only completely new mechanic.
And we have Monarch and Partner returning.
And Cascade.
And Cascade.
Cascade.
Like, oh, where is it?
And Flying and First Strike and Death Touch.
Yeah. No, but I'm looking for,
God, what was it called? Wasn't it green?
yes, it's the Apex Devastator.
Yeah,
For-
I just looked at that.
for 8 and a green.
There it is.
And another green. It's a Chimera Hydra. It is not legendary. You got to get it out of your deck the old-fashioned way. And it's a 10/10 for 10, and it has Cascade, 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 and Cascade.
Woo.
I mean, I love me some Maelstrom Wanderer. And one of the benefits to Maelstrom Wanderer is it is a legendary creature, so if it's your commander, hopefully you're getting multiple uses out of it. But 4 Cascades on a 10 cost is pretty amazing. Just gotta get there. And it's a Chimera Hydra. Just by itself, that's pretty awesome. So yeah. I always enjoyed Cascade as a mechanic.
Now, just in case there are younger people listening or newer players that don't remember Cascade, Cascade is insane. So when you cast the spell, you start exiling cards from the top of your library until you hit a card that costs less than the spell that you first cast. So in this case, a spell that costs less than 10. Should be relatively simple to find. Then you can cast that without paying the mana cost. You just get it.
And yes, if that spell has Cascade, you'll do its Cascade as well. Because that's when you cast it.
Yeah, because you are casting the spell that you cascade into, which sometimes causes problems about whether or not whatever. But you are casting it. So then all the exiled cards go to the bottom of your library in a random order. And then for the Apex Devastator, you cascade again. And again. And again.
Yeah, and it's interesting with something that costs 10. Yes, it's going to be pretty easy to flip to something that costs less than 10.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because even though you can get bigger, more amazing plays off of something with Cascade that costs more, because you can get something bigger for free, it really increases the variance because there are so many, there are lots of numbers less than 10. I can think of at least 4 right now.
Without even trying.
Yeah.
I mean,
but where Magic ran into problems, when Cascade was still in standard, and then when it was in modern, was the low cost Cascade spells.
Yeah.
The one that only cost 3, so you could engineer your deck to do the same thing every single time, and that caused problems.
I remember that when they printed that they made a commander product with a infiltrator that was a 3-cost creature, a 2/2 with Cascade, and this was a competitive deck because you would design the deck so that it had a high or absolute chance of turning over a ridiculous spell that literally did not have a cast. It did not have a cost. There were a cycle of cards that you could only suspend. You could only play a certain way, usually in Time Spiral. And one of them had an effect like Eureka, where you just then throw stuff onto the board. Yeah. And it was a Hypergenesis.
Had a living death effect. Yeah, it was Hypergenesis.
And so you would play the stupid 2/2 guy and make sure you turn up a Hypergenesis, which then let you throw your Emrakul onto the table. So that's not how I play this personally, because I love getting the crazy big stuff for free. But yes, you could competitively, the lower the cost is, the less variance you have, because you can trim the deck that way. If you are trying to play Apex Devastator and you're going for a specific, 3-cost card, I don't think that works at all. Because you would have to have nothing in the deck that costs between, 3 and 10.
But
So,
ignoring like trying to laser focus something with the Apex Devastator, what you're really getting is you pay 10 mana, you get a 10/10, and you get 4 other things.
yes.
Like whether it's, and what's even funnier is if you hit like a board wipe, you can cast it because all of your cascades happen before the Apex Devastator hits the battlefield.
Yep, it's still hanging out on the stack.
Yeah. So, I love it because you get it's a big stupid card where you play big stupid games and you win big stupid prizes, and I love it. Yeah.
So, if I may ask, what is up with the cards with the different background, like the where the text is with the symbol for the set?
Oh yeah, those are special. I don't know. Okay, I don't understand
That was English.
how some of these cards are spread between the normal set and the variants.
Yeah,
So there are
so
some special reprints that aren't part of the main set that are on the page for Commander Legends instead of the page for the variants and special stuff. And there are things on the page of variants that just flat out do not appear on the page for the main set. I don't understand what's going on. And I couldn't be bothered to read the article about how to collect Commander Legends to know what all of this means.
yeah. I think if I had to guess, I would say that cards like Condemn and Danitha Capashen are in the Commander decks, maybe? And aren't in the set? Maybe?
Because the ones I'm looking at, I'm going, okay, those are reprints.
Yeah,
but
like
there's reprints that
Carador
don't
and
have that special card body or the special card format, whatever.
frame is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, there you go, frame. Like, I'm just going, I don't understand why I mean, they're all legendaries, but
Yeah,
there
and
are legendaries above that don't have that.
And I think they're all reprints. Now, this is where you can tell, dear listeners, that we have not been following along with Wizards of the Coast and their nonsense. Like, I saw this when I opened both of these pages up today, while we were in the pre-show odds and ends, actually, and I scrolled down and I went, you know what? I don't care. And I went over to the variants page and I saw normal cards that weren't variants, and I went, you know what? I don't care. And that's sad, but I really don't, because I'm not going to play with any of these cards. We're just here to talk about the cool cards.
Mm-hmm.
But my guess is that all of these normal cards, like Disenchant and Condemn on the variants page, are in some other product. Because if you look at the collector number, like Disenchant is 372. And there aren't that many cards in the booster pack set.
Yeah, it only goes up to 361.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess that these are in, like I said, my guess because of what these cards are, they're in the Commander decks. Oh, and Magnus just confirmed that. They're in the decks for the set. Because the Commander decks are technically part of the set, but they're not in boosters because Wizards has lost their damn mind. Like, they honestly don't care anymore. And if they don't care, we shouldn't either. So...
And we have some other answers from a couple of people in the chat about these other reprints being the special etched foils, which I guess, I don't know if they appear in regular boosters or just collector boosters or what, but there's special versions of certain commanders from past sets that are just fancy.
Hell
People
yeah,
who like
Vile
them can have
Smasher.
Yeah, people who like them can have an extra fancy version.
So on the variants page, I really love the art of swords to plowshares. That's really neat.
That was a judge foil art, I want to say.
I think you're right.
You're right, that is pretty. Look at that. Holy crap. Also, chat, can you tell Brian stepped away? Because he hasn't piped in about any of this. Okay, wait a minute. We got something here. Gavin confirmed that the etch foils can be in the draft boosters, not just collector boosters. Okay. So I'm guessing that, like, Vile Smasher will have a regular version too? Or is the special version the only kind you can get? While you guys are answering questions about crap that we don't know and don't really care about. So let's get back to the cool cards. While chat figures that out for us.
Well, the one that I'll go ahead and talk about.
Get 'em, Dirk.
Go to white and go to Achroma Vision of Ixalan or Ixidor.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, that one's kind of neat. For 5 and 2 white, it's a 6/6 legendary angel. Go figure. It's mythic. It has flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and then has a gigantic amount of text. But it has partner also. At the beginning of each combat, until end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, +1/+1 if it has first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner.
Huh.
So the more abilities it has, the bigger it is.
Huh. This. Huh.
Well, at least at the beginning of each combat until end of turn, so at least these things are not that big when it's your turn and you're, running into this. But when it is your turn and you're attacking, you want to make sure that whatever creatures you have lots of
No.
them.
The fact that it says each combat, I'm pretty sure means they get big on your opponent's turn too.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Never mind.
Okay, Chad is also saying that the etched foils are it. There aren't regular versions of the etched foils. Okay. But they're part of the set proper. Okay. I've given up on trying to understand what Wizards does with sets anymore. But
the last
Achroma
commander set, I almost always buy a commander set. I did not buy anything for the last commander.
What?
It's just
Somebody remind Brian to mute when he gets up and walks away.
I just unmuted. I just got back and unmuted.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because we've been listening to the for a little while before you said that.
I just literally clicked. I made sure that it said muted when I walked away, and when I came back, it was on mute, and I just unclicked it.
Weird.
As you said, Achroma, and then Dirk was saying something else about commander sets. So.
So yeah, Achroma's neat. She works really well with her memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is she wearing skis? What is wrong with her feet in this art?
there's a bunch of them that the way they are standing looks really weird.
See, now I can't not see skis.
Like, you see what I mean, though?
Mm-hmm.
Does she have swords? Sorry, swords strapped to the bottom of her feet? Like, what?
That's how she gets first strike, is she kicks out at you.
Oh, I thought it was the... I
she
thought it
kicks
was the
out, she
big.
impales
Oh, I
you.
can't say that on this show. I thought it was the big piss off spear.
Now I'm just going pizza, French fry, pizza, French fry in my head.
I guess that's what Ixidor sees when he tries to envision feet.
There you go. After all, she was created by him.
Oh, hey, Mycroft is in the chat. All right, let's go back down to gold.
Have you guys covered?
Nope.
There's
Oh,
a
wait a minute. We just
minute
got a
what?
comment in the chat about someone joking about extra legs. So if you
Yeah.
have the variants page open
Uh-huh.
and can find the where is it?
They
Aha.
put
It's at the end of the black section in the variants. The special preview version of Senger the Dark Baron by Pete Venters.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
He's missing a leg.
Yeah, it looks like there's only one foot poking out of his robe.
I bet
where
he
the
did that
other-
on purpose.
Is that where the other leg came from then?
Yeah, I was about to say, there you go.
Well, no. Mike, you have to explain it to these guys.
Okay. So, we've joked about Olivia Voldaren's art and just the way it was done. It looks like the artist kind of lost track of what they were doing partway through.
Yeah.
And it looks like she has 3 legs under her robes.
Yeah.
Because she has
Or-
one or something. And then later on, we were looking at older cards. I can't remember if it was because we were doing a Mythic Conscription for Homelands or something else. And we noticed the original art for...
No, it was way before that.
Okay, we noticed the original art for Baron Senger didn't seem to have any legs. So then we were certain we knew where Olivia Voldaren's extra leg came from. And now here we have Senger the Dark Baron. Only has 1 leg.
Yeah, I'm pulling up Baron Singer's art just in case anyone doesn't know. But yeah, you can see it's not really a leg there.
I don't know that I ever noticed that before. Huh.
Yeah, I remember that being a joke in an old episode or an old issue of Inquest back in the day.
Oh, where were his legs?
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was like in the middle of some rant. It was like Baron Singer doesn't even have any legs, or something like that. But yeah, it's good to see that Singer the Dark Baron at least has 1 now. Lord. Okay, so like I said, since Mycroft is in the chat, I need you guys to go back down to gold and go to Quain with a K. And somebody needs to read Quain.
Okay. This is Quain, itinerant meddler. For a blue and a white, it's a rabbit wizard. It's a 1/3 rabbit wizard. Tap. Each player may draw a card. Then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life. Wait. Each player may draw a card. Then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life.
Yep.
Then why wouldn't you why but why would I ever not why would I ever not? Like, I could see if it was like, then anybody that drew a card like loses a life or discards a card, but each player may draw a card, then each player, I don't get this card.
I
It's
guess,
a group hug card.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't necessarily want to draw a card. If you still don't understand how to play Magic and you already have 12 cards in your hand, you might be like, I don't need any more. But if you know what you're doing, you're gonna take it every time.
It's hard. You'd have to really stretch. I mean, I guess so. This comes down on 2. So maybe you're playing Howling Mind Effects and you're just trying to give everybody more cards than they can handle. Maybe, or you're milling them and they're like, ooh, but they're still drawing cards and you're gaining them life. Like, if I'm on the fence and I'm like, well, I'm also taking some damage, so yes, I guess I'll draw a card so I can gain a life. This is a weird card. Why so slow? Why so slow? Hurry up. You never know what you'll find. It's the flavor text.
Yeah, he's hurrying the game along for everybody. It's a group hug card.
I mean, I love group hug cards. One of my favorite cards is the Zedru the Greathearted, which is in, this fits in those colors. It's just weird. I like it, but it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how clear it was. Yeah, my comment earlier was mostly a joke about how I play Magic. It wasn't to dig at people who don't want to have 17 cards in their hand.
Yes. If Mike doesn't have 17 cards in his hand, Mike is actually not entirely happy.
Yeah.
He hasn't quite warmed up just yet.
I mean, the time when I played the Forced Fruition and he's like, all right, let's go. And just went all in and ended up decking himself.
It was just one spell too many. I didn't count right.
I know you didn't. And we love you for it because it became a great story. I want to talk about a cycle. It's not even of legendary cards, but I think they're awesome. They are the courts. Yes, right. I'm taking you guys to court.
Boo!
Yeah, I know. So
what are...
What color?
Just one in each.
One in each.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I'll start with white. Court of Grace for 2 and 2 white. I believe they all have 2 and 2 of that color. We'll see. Rare enchantment. When Court of Grace enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the Monarch, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. A righteous sovereign makes for a blessed realm. So, and keep in mind, so you play this during your turn, you're the Monarch, you then have to stay the Monarch to get the benefit of this. You got to make it all the way around to you. Mike, when does someone else become the Monarch?
Someone else becomes the Monarch when one of their creatures deals combat damage to you.
That's right.
And I think that, I don't know if that reminder text is printed on any of these cards, but I'm certain it's printed on the Monarch token.
Right. So, but even if you're not the Monarch, you still get the benefit of this. You at least get a 1/1 every turn, which sometimes that's fine. For I think a card with a bigger upswing, let's go to blue. And it's going to be the Court of Cunning. Who wants to cover the Court of Cunning?
I can't. It sounds dirty.
Okay.
The Court
Also,
of Cunning.
can I point something out?
What's that?
So, go to the row above. We've got the Azure Fleet Admiral, Body of Knowledge, Brynolin the Moon Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next card is Flood of Recollection. And then the next card is Confiscate.
Whoa. And it says that Flood of Recollection is card 61. And the Brynolin is 60 and Confiscate is 62.
What in the hell happened there?
Are the courts reprints? No, they're not.
No.
What's going on?
And I know what you're thinking of, but only in the variants section are they, segmented reprints and not reprints. I don't know. That looks like a fluke.
Looks like somebody forgot their ABCs.
Cookie Monster.
That's weird. Maybe it had a different name before it went to print and something weird happened.
That's
But
the
Flood
only
of
thing I can think
Recollection
of.
is a reprint.
What?
Yeah, that's from Ixalan, right? Gatherer.
I mean, the story beat is from Ixalan.
I'm pretty sure though that was it Flood of
Recollection.
Flood of Recollection, Rivals of Ixalan. Same art and everything.
But that doesn't matter because these are just in alphabetical order.
I know. I'm just.
All right. I just happened to notice that and it blew me away. So, okay, Court of Cunning.
So,
One.
Court of Cunning for 1 and 2 blue. It is a enchantment that's rare.
Oh, it is.
When Court of Cunning enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Dun dun dun. At the beginning of your upkeep, any number of target players each mill 2 cards. If you're the Monarch, each of those players mills 10 cards instead. And the flavor text: a throne built on wisdom cannot be toppled.
I feel like this is a huge swing, and I mean, duh. But like a 1/1 angel, 4/1/1 soldier, 4/4 angel, you definitely want the 4/4. But it might be depending on your deck. You're able to use either of those. Maybe you're doing sacrifice outlets, whatever. Sometimes you just need a little dude. But mill 2 or mill 10. Yeah.
10 definitely speeds up the game.
It does. Especially if you're drafting and you're playing 60 card commander, and they're already assuming this comes out on, I don't know, turn 0, which is impossible, then they're already 7 cards down. Hey, what's the black one? Here's a hint. It starts with court.
Yes.
What?
That would be the Court of Ambition. For 2 black. Rare enchantment. Enters the battlefield. You're the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card. If you're the Monarch, instead, each opponent loses 6 life unless they discard 2 cards.
Ah, I see what they did there.
Yeah. Here the flavor text is, watch your step.
Huh. That's different from the others. This one's okay. It's going to feel really punishing if they can't handle it, but if you're able to, reuse cards from your graveyard, it may not be too bad. The red one was the last one to be revealed. For some reason, like the other 4 went up really close together, and then the red one was much later.
So the Court of Ire. For 3 red is the red rare enchantment. Oh god, this is going to suck. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, of course. At the beginning of your upkeep, Court of Ire deals 2 damage to any target. If you're the Monarch, it deals 7 damage to that player or permanent instead. Interesting that it's worded that way, but okay. Those are the only 2 things you can target, right? Players and permanents. Yeah, you can't target a spell.
For dealing damage.
For damage, yeah. And the flavor text is, hold your tongue lest you burn it.
Just wait, in the next unset, there will be like a deal 2 damage to target creature spell.
And then in 2 years, it'll show up in a normal set.
Yeah. That is how this works.
Would Planeswalkers be considered permanents?
Well, yeah,
yes.
they are permanent.
Yes.
Yeah. When a damage spell says any target, that's just a short way of saying creature, player, or planeswalker.
Okay.
And then finally, we have the Court of Bounty. What's the red flavor text?
I read that.
Oh, you did. That's right. So, Court of Bounty for 2 and 2 green. So they don't all have the same cost. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you're the Monarch, instead, you may put a creature or a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's fine. To grow is to triumph.
Accurate.
All right. So, I thought those were neat. Wanted to take a minute and cover those. So now we have done so.
Yay!
Yay! There you go. So what else do we see that's awesome?
Is Biowaste Blob a new card?
I think
so.
it is, yes.
Because the name is Biowaste Blob. Which means it's a blob of crap.
More or less.
So for 2 green, it's an ooze. Oozes you control get +1/+1. Thank goodness, because it's a 0/0. And then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a commander, create a token that's a copy of Biowaste Blob. Oh, wow.
My gosh.
So...
Yeah, keep in mind the token has that ability as well.
yeah. So I guess
Yep.
we have finally found out what you do with all those commanders that are full of crap.
They each are making a bio-waste blob who just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
So remember I said I read Jurassic Park? And one of the things they brought up in the book that wasn't brought up in the movie is they were trying to figure out what to do with, giant brachiosaur poop. I think I have an idea now.
It starts, learning how to talk and do jobs.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
The flavor text is interesting. The Simic will be fined for contaminating the waterway. In the meantime, seize that blob. Which sounds like a, mid-90s comedy movie.
Wow. Hey, did you guys see the turtle?
Yeah. Arkelos.
Yeah, tell us about Arkelos.
Arkelos, Lagoon Mystic, costs 1 black, green, blue. And is a 2/4 legendary turtle shaman. It's rare. As long as Arkelos is tapped, other permanents, not just yours, everybody's, other permanents enter the battlefield tapped. As long as Arkelos is untapped, other permanents enter the battlefield untapped.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could get weird because entering the battlefield tapped is an important balancing element for lots of cards out there.
Yep.
And being able to get around that can be huge in certain situations.
Just think about how this thing works. Like, after you play it and then it comes around to your turn again, you're probably going to attack with him as long as it's safe to do so. So before you attack with him, you play stuff, and that stuff, if it would normally enter tapped, it's going to enter untapped. And then you attack with him, and then during other people's turns, all their stuff comes in tapped. So there's just a great sense of rhythm to this turtle and the order that his abilities apply. Works really well.
Ninja, rap. Oh wait, no, different turtle.
Life is not a race. Or life is not a race. Yeah.
One that I looked at and thought,
wait a minute.
That's definitely... Go ahead.
Mycroft pointed out that in Archelos's story, because apparently there are stories going up somewhere, Quain... I'm sorry. There we go. Quain, the rabbit wizard, was the only creature to ever irritate poor Archelos. Get it? The rabbit
And the hair.
and the
Yeah.
tortoise and the hare.
And the rabbit's just like, come on, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And the turtle's like, I don't like you.
Okay, Dirk, what were you gonna point us at?
So
What the?
you guys know that I'm a bit of a tribal person. So
No.
Amarith, the lustrous, is the dragon that's above Arkelos. For 3 green, white, blue, legendary dragon, rare. That's a 6/6 with flying. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it into your hand.
I think you're slightly confused there, Dirk.
Oh, it's just permanents.
Well, it's card type, not creature type.
Oh, wow.
So if it's an if the permanent that enters the battlefield under your control is an artifact,
If you reveal another artifact, you get to put that into your hand.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, if you play a land, you get to go look and see.
For some odd reason, in my head, I'm going creature type. I don't even see card type.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't give you, it's not like a scry ability where it lets you put on the bottom. So let's say you get 2 lands with explosive vegetation, and this ability triggers twice. If the top card is not a land, you're just going to look at the top card twice. You can't choose to move it onto the bottom or anything like that. But still, I think it's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow. That also means, yeah. So if you play a whole bunch of cards, you get to do this every time.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly.
Okay.
This feels like a Mike thing because I could see Mike playing something and be like, yep, I want that. Yep, I
It
want that.
does. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that one. Yep. Keep it coming.
And then
Okay.
Mike has 17 cards in his hand, and he's finally happy.
Okay, I just read The Abomination of Lenoir. I had not read it before, and this is really disturbing. Like,
Yeah.
really disturbing. The Abomination of Lenoir, for 1 a black and a green, is a legendary elf horror. It's uncommon, and it has vigilance and menace. And its power and toughness are each equal to the number of elves you control, plus the number of elf cards in your graveyards, the elves and the dead elves. And then the flavor text. Run, screamed its living mouths. Come, cried its dead ones. So hey Dirk, I got a new elf for your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, that's awful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
agree with that.
I'm pretty sure I don't want a wallpaper of this art.
Oh.
Okay.
Just
Somebody talk about anything else. Anything else at all.
So we still don't know who the next president is.
Okay, so anything else
There we go.
within reason.
So there's another story figure that I know I've been waiting a long time to see. That would be Kolfin, the last U.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention Belbay.
You.
Oh yeah, Belbay's there. But yes, Kolfin. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Kolfin was a figure in the Lorwyn Shadowmoor story that never made it onto a card, but was mentioned in several of them. For 3 white, black, green, it's a 3/7 legendary Treefolk Shaman. It's rare. Has vigilance and reach. You know, it's pretty common abilities for Treefolk to have. When Kolfin or another creature you control dies, return up to 1 other target creature card with lesser toughness from your graveyard to your hand.
Or another. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, Treefolk Tribal just got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was thinking, wasn't there a Kolfin card? And I looked and gathered, no, we only had his plans and his urn.
His urn, and then we got the sapling of Kolfinor.
Yes.
I remember the urn just because of that one time you broke yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played it in Commander, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to put all these guys under here. And at least 2 of the guys were like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, yes, because I want to get them back for cheap and easy. So Mike blew it up, including I had lost my commander, so I put my commander in the urn and never got my commander back. And you warned me. You didn't specifically say, hey, I'm going to blow it up with this card, but you did say, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, why wouldn't I? And then you showed me why I wouldn't. Right. So we also have another figure that's from way back in the Urza part of the story, Belbe, who was a Phyrexian figure, and in fact was in charge of deciding who the Evankar of Wrath would be, right? I think. But Belbe was Belbe Corrupted Observer is here now. For a black and a green is a zombie elf. Oh god, another one? Okay. Well, this one's not a horror. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds 2 colorless mana for each of your opponents who lost life this turn. So you guys fight. I mean, you can attack me if you want, but you won't get any mana for it. If you guys fight each other, I'm just gonna watch you guys fight now. Yeah. I like cards. I like cards like this one and like the blue-green elf guy who's like, hey, you know, when you attack somebody else, you know, everybody gets to draw a card. So things that encourage you to be a little political with who you attack. Yeah.
Wait, did you jump to a different card after Belbe?
No. Why?
I don't know. For some reason, like, I lost how we got from Belbe to watching people fight.
Yeah, because it encourages your opponents to go after each other.
Yeah.
Oh, for each of your opponents. Okay, never mind.
And it's at the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase. So
Right. It was the each of your opponent. I'm like, they can hit you. No, it doesn't matter. Ha ha ha. Okay, I got it. So, like, I'm not sure how I lost it, but I did, and I got really confused.
That's all right. Ask them the questions that matter. So,
what color is 5? Holy crap! Did you guys see Averna?
Averna.
Averna the Chaos. It's right next to Belbe.
Okay.
Averna the Chaos Bloom for a blue, a red, and a green is an elemental shaman, 4/2, legendary. As you cascade, you may put a land card from among the exiled cards onto the battlefield tapped. Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It turns potentially every cascade into ramp as well.
Yeah.
And it says, do this after the last card is exiled, but before deciding whether to cast a non-land card. Hiccup.
That's great. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. All right. I just glanced over at that and went, wait, what? What else we got? Chat, are there any cards that we have missed, like, specifically? That you're like, really? How can you not talk about?
There's a okay. So, I've been looking for this. Mike,
Yes.
you appreciate weird cards like I do.
Do.
In blue, it's not legendary, but in blue, there is a mythic Sphinx. The
Oh God.
Sphinx, the Sphinx of the Second Sun.
I love this card.
I figured you did. So, if you love it, then why don't you marry it and then tell us what it does?
Don't tell
Or-
Ashley though.
Yeah.
Or maybe tell her first. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, I should probably ask first.
Probably a good idea. Well, in the meantime, why don't you tell us what it does?
So the Sphinx of the Second Sun costs 6 blue, so a total of 8 for a 6/6 Sphinx with flying. Sphinx with no job, just taking up space. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you get an additional beginning phase after this phase. And the beginning phase, as the reminder text so helpfully reminds us, includes the untap, upkeep, and draw steps.
This card is trippy.
This card is weird, but I mean, I get it. But I feel like they were just having a contest to be like, okay, what phases can we make you repeat that we haven't made people repeat before? Combat phase, we do that all the time. Pre-combat main phase, post-combat main phase, sure, why not? Beginning? I mean, it's basically like then you get to untap and you get to draw, but anything that also says, like, I don't know, all of the courts trigger again.
Yep.
So let's set this up. You go untap, upkeep, draw, main, combat. Okay?
Right?
Then you get untap, upkeep, draw, second main.
No. You get main and then untap, upkeep, draw.
But this is at the beginning.
This triggers when the post-combat main phase begins, and it gives you an additional beginning phase after this phase.
Oh, after this
it does
phase.
say, but
okay,
yeah.
so let's start over then. You go untap, upkeep, draw, main, combat, second main, untap, upkeep, draw, clean up. Mike's turn.
Oh, it makes your turn more symmetrical, doesn't it? It's like one of those what is it, omnipotopoeia or whatever.
No, onomatopoeia is sound effects, like boom.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
No, you're thinking of crap.
where it's spelled the same
Palindrome.
way. Palindrome. Except
I was
for,
like, a spoonerism. No, damn it, what's it called?
because you have untap, upkeep, draw, which we'll call A, main phase B, combat C, then main phase B, and then beginning phase A again. So it's A B C B A.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a riddle. I think as the is this oh yeah, never mind. Sorry. I was thinking of a story involving another Sphinx. There's a Sphinx in this set that the lore said is stuck like 5 minutes into the future, but it was not this one.
It's one of the legendary ones. There's something that sort of came up in the chat, like it kind of came up because it looks like Wolfie had the wrong idea about something that was going on, but then Mycroft asked a question. So some effects, not all, it's some of them are weird. Some effects that give you another combat phase also give you another post-combat main phase. And Sphinx of the Second Sun would trigger at the beginning of that extra post-combat main phase as well.
Oh,
Wait, really?
Really?
Oh,
well,
Jesus.
oof.
But only for the effects that do give you another post-combat main phase. You got to read it carefully because they don't all work the same way.
Oh, God, my head. What, you've never heard of a spoonerism? When you're in a Bancy Fall with a Pransome Hints, you don't forget to slop your dripper? That's spoonerism, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's been a thing in my house growing up for years. Whenever you would like miss your mouth or spill something on your shirt, you'd be like, "Hey, you slopped your dripper."
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thing. Anyway. There was another thing in chat that someone mentioned we should look at.
Sakushima?
Sakushima. Yeah.
Sakushima in Kamigawa block was like a legendary creature, which Kamigawa block was all about like legendary creatures, but it was a legendary creature that could be a clone of another legendary creature. So how's it represented here? Well, I'll tell you. Sakushima of 1,000 Faces for 3 and a blue is a 3/1 human rogue mythic. You may have Sakushima of 1,000 Faces enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except it has Sakushima of 1,000 Faces other abilities. And those other abilities are partner, and it's a mirror gallery. The legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. So maybe I want another one of those Sphinxes of the Second Sun. Would that even work? Would I now get 2?
Mm-hmm.
Beginning that's not even legendary. I think everything now is gonna be about like how many Sphinxes of the Second Suns can I get? So don't mind me. But yeah, I mean I don't have a whole lot to say about this because it's literally copy that other thing. And because it's a monocolored legendary creature in the set, it has partner. So some of the partners go better with other specific partners. This literally goes with any of them if you want another one of those things. Want 2 Achromas?
Always.
Well, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think we can have what, like 6 Achromas now?
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's the white one, the red one.
one. Was there hasn't been a black one.
There's the different white one.
Yes, the smaller white one.
There's the different white one, the new one.
Right, like the new white one, the new one from this set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so there are what, 3 white ones and a red one? I'm missing one, right?
Well, there's also the memorial, but together Achroma. Achroma comes
now I'm
up
curious
with
too.
Achroma, Angel of Fury, Achroma, Angel of Wrath.
Right.
Those are the only ones that this shows.
Chewie, are you thinking of other Avacens?
Oh yes,
I bet I am.
Because Avacyn is like an Achroma. So
yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Avacens. So there are only 3 Achroma.
Yes.
Plus 2 Sakushima. So that's 5. Wait, Sakushima the Imposter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any creature on the battlefield. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
So that's 5, and then we. Uh...
but you know what? Do both partners have to have partner the ability? You can't just be like this commander plus this other one with partner. They both have to have partner, right?
Both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you can do partner this Sakushima with the new Akroma, but not with the old ones. Yeah, I was thinking of Avacyn as well, Chewie. You're not the only one.
Okay, good. Because I was like, no, there was. I'm thinking of a different art for the original Akroma. That's what I'm thinking. I see it in my head now, but I got it confused with the different Avacyn. Okay, right.
I think there's been 3 Avacyns because there was the big one that they made at first, and then there was the smaller one that they made for a core set, where it was kind of like okay, and then there was the flippy one where she goes crazy.
Yeah, there's the Angel of Hope, then there was Archangel Avacyn, and then we had the Purifier. Oh, and there's Guardian Angel. There's been 4 Avacyns?
Really?
Is one of those the flip side of the other one?
The backside is.
Yeah. The Purifier is the backside. So
there
sorry,
we go.
there's
Okay.
only 3.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot the Gatherer shows you both of them as separate cards because Gatherer hates me.
It does, doesn't it?
Screw you, Gatherer. Oh wait, Sakushima's protege helps with this? What is this? You may have... Okay, so for 4 blue, it's a 3/1 shapeshifter with flash and cascade, and you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any permanent that entered the battlefield this turn. Except, no, because there's still a legend rule. So you'd have to have original Sakushima out already. And then cascade into... Oh, I think my brain just fell out. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it's crawling away. Okay, bye. Are we, you think we're good? Should we stop?
Why don't we stop here, and then we've got plenty to talk about next week. So
yeah.
Okay.
Because there's still so much going on here.
Yeah. Actually, I have a chance to read all of these.
Honestly, like I said, it's kind of nice to be interested in Magic right now. And this set comes out on the 20th, right?
No idea.
So I think I'll go grab a couple packs and
wow,
maybe just do a draft with Sam, or just crack them and try to build some decks.
We didn't even talk about Tevesh Zot.
No, or Jessica. Should we save those for next time?
Jessica's in here?
Yeah.
As a planeswalker.
Wait, we knew that already, didn't we?
I don't think so.
I recognize that art. I think they'd shown us this picture somewhere.
I think they showed us the picture. I don't think they had shown us.
I recognize that art hard. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Krark either. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff to talk about next week. Okay.
Great.
And also...
Krark is awesome, but gonna hold off.
I can't find a dumb card to just name. Oh god, we didn't talk about the card that made people lose their mind. The Jeweled Lotus? Yeah, the Jeweled Lotus.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back next week and cover more of this stuff. Presumably, we'll all have power and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So
stupid freaking hurricane. At least I didn't have to miss the weekly Among Us, because that is honestly the high point of my week these days, is Among Us on Friday night. No offense to you guys. So
None taken.
So, how about we wrap it up then, gentlemen? But before we do that, I'm going to do the Patreon thing.
Okay.
Ha ha ha. So, I got to change this bookmark. There we go. So, you can go to patreon.com/themanapool, sign up to become a lifeguard, which helps me keep churning out this content. over on YouTube right now. I finished up Bendy and the Ink Machine. As a matter of fact, last episode of that will be out tomorrow. I was proud of myself. I had like 54 minutes of footage left, but due to judicious editing, it ended up being like a 43-minute video. So I was proud of me. Bendy and the Ink Machine is really good, except for the forced stealth section in Chapter 5. The forced stealth section in Chapter 5 can go to hell, but the rest of the game is really good. Even all of the fetch quests for Alice Angel in Chapter 3, that didn't get on my nerves because I was the one doing it wrong. So, but yeah, it's cool. So if you want to check that out, those videos are going up on YouTube as we speak. And then don't forget on Thursdays we do the Mana Pool. On Fridays we do the Community Among Us stream. Sometimes we get like Bill and Clues and Jen. We had Brian Prilliman play with us last week. That was fun. And a bunch of Mana Pool community people. Yay. And then on Saturday nights, we do the watch party on Twitch. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can join the watch party. And if you have Amazon Prime, but don't, like it only works on computers. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can like hit play on the movie and have me up. And sometimes someone else joins me. Steph has joined me a bunch. You can have me up on your tablet or whatever, so you still get the full effect of the watching it with me. Or you could just watch the movie and ignore me. You know, whatever. This week, I know for those of you listening to this live, it'll be too late, but we're going to watch 2 comedies because everything is awful all the time. So we're going to watch a movie about a dead guy, and then we're going to watch a movie about people going to hell. So we're watching Weekend at Bernie's and Stay Tuned, which are 2 really nice, funny, stupid 90s comedies, which I think is what we need right now.
I don't think I've ever heard of Stay Tuned.
It's John Ritter and... oh, God, I forgot who plays his wife. Is it the woman from Mork and Mindy?
I don't. It's a really whacked out movie, but it's funny.
It's a really whacked out movie, but it's funny. Bill. Mike has hit the nail right between the eyes. So yeah, we're going to watch those 2 this week. It's going to be awesome. Because stupid 90s comedies is what the world needs right now. Just going to say that right now. Yeah. But like I said, that's just some of the... I used to play games like on... when was that? Oh, yesterday. Last night I played Hades on stream for the first time. A new roguelike... it's not new. It's been out for ages, but it's just fully released from early access not long ago. It's the new game by Supergiant, the company that did Bastion and Transistor and Pyre. And if you're on Twitter at all, or Facebook or freaking anywhere, you've probably seen people losing their mind over Hades. And I sort of understand why. The first time I played, I went for 5 hours. And it was really good. Dude, in my first go through, or my first time playing, not my first run, but my first time playing, I beat the Bone Hydra and ended up in Elysium. Now, for anyone who hasn't played the game, they'll be like, okay. But for those of you that have, I was told that was very impressive for the little bit of time I played and the small number of things I'd unlocked. So, there is a hot Minotaur guy in it. He's got a pompadour. It was very strange. He was actually the last thing I did was beat him before I died on that run that got all the way to Elysium. Yes. Also, Hades is a dick. He's a bad father. Just laying that out there in the game. In the game. But anyway. So I'm also going to be finishing up Mario 64, finally, soon. hopefully. I think Monday I'll at least play it again. Gonna do Monday Night Mario. Yes. So yes, just it's gonna be awesome. And a bunch of this is going on YouTube. Bendy's on YouTube, and Mario's gonna be on YouTube. Hades is not going on YouTube because it's not a YouTube friendly game really. Not really. So, yay! But anyway, so if you want to help support what I do, go to patreon.com/themanapool. You can get early access to videos and podcasts and get get the odds and ends and get the sponsorship shout out on the podcast and on the end screen for all the YouTube videos. So hey, let me shout out those people, the Mythic Lifeguards: Rafe Gall, Al, Kim Ho, Scuzzo, John Parker, Jake Jansons, Beardy Man, Team You Hillis Haru. Wait, hang on, I scrolled. PJ McMullen, The Beast Father Aaron Goodwine, Jason Kaus, Andrew Hunt, Aleph Cat, Cody Buckowing, Casey, Jeff Spencer, Gothic Man, I miss Gothic, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Connor Kennedy, Backwards Logic, and ALK Alters. Thank you all so very much. And to all of our lifeguards at every tier, I quite literally could not do this without you. So yay! I think once things calm down, I'm going to get back on the super secret project. You guys remember that? It's going to be forever.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I actually did any work on it. It's just still been rolling around in my head all this time. But anyway. So with that, let's do some final thoughts from the dorks. Wanted to get all that out first. So go, dorks.
All right. Avoiding any serious topic. Last night I beat the final boss in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I had obtained a copy, but I hadn't really started playing it until a couple weeks ago. And honestly, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Doesn't necessarily replace the first one, just in terms of the gameplay. It's different, but story wise, I think I like it, but it's in this weird position where they're pretty much assuming that you've played the original. That's how it feels. And they've taken some steps to go in different directions, which I appreciate. What I don't like is a very obvious case of there'll be more of these coming via, new games or DLC or whatever. So here's a bunch of stuff we're not going to explain at any point. And I'm like, that just, I get why they do it, but that's not as satisfying to me. That's basically like, they show you a picture of a cake and you're like, this looks good. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, we'll let you have like a bite of it. I'm like, great, it tastes good, I want to have the rest. And like, yeah, we'll let you know when it's ready. I'm like, So really enjoyed it. By beating it, it unlocks hard mode and it lets you go back and do other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Enjoyed it. Do I think it's the best version of the game? I don't know, but I did really enjoy what they did with the combat. So yeah, good stuff.
And a definitive sniff right there at the end, just so you know he's serious.
I was kind of hacking a little earlier, and I took an allergy pill because obviously allergies not what everybody's afraid of right now, but having some allergy symptoms. And now I'm doing a lot better. I was really sniffly before, but nose was a little like, ugh. So there you go.
So you know he's serious.
Yeah.
Next.
So for me, I've been playing Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm up to the point where you've gotten the Ragnarok, and I've just sort of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I'm really interested in playing anymore.
I'm sorry, I blanked out for a second. Where have you gotten to?
I've just picked up the Ragnarok.
Okay. Well, you're
the airship.
You're like 9/10 of the way through the game then.
I know. Like, I'm essentially all I have to do is just push on and finish up the game, but again, it's a case of I I really am just, like I sort of pushed myself to get to that. Like the battle of the two gardens is really sort of like the best part to me, and then after that is like meh. And I've pushed myself to sort of get through it, and now I'm to the point where I'm like I really just want to play something else. And I mean I haven't uninstalled it. I will finish it, but I'm thinking it's going to probably be a Thanksgiving thing where I'm going to need a couple of days where I'm bored enough to just say or have like a couple hours to myself long enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. I'm actually gonna play this game and I'm gonna finish this game. But my thing is, I'm been really excited about World of Warcraft because the new expansion is coming out in, I think it's something like 15 days or like what 17 days is as of right now that it's supposed to come out, and I'm really looking forward to the pre-release event where the Scourge are essentially going to come out of the come out of the house, and they're going to just start wrecking things, and you get to be part of that. I will admit I was part of. I played WoW when the very first Scourge event occurred with Noxoramus. I actually have screenshots of the necropoli outside of Thunderbluff, and when they did it again for Wrath of the Lich King, it was like, oh man, this was great. This was so much fun. And now to hear like, yeah, we're doing it one more time, and uh, in the lead up and everything, I'm kind of stoked about that happening at some point. I think it will start next week. So, and then my brother is getting married next week as well. So I'm excited about that whole deal and wrapping up Trevor's baseball season with the spiking in coronavirus cases, particularly in North Carolina. I'm just going. I really want baseball to wrap up because my parents and I, and maybe like three other people are the people who actually wear masks, and no one else does. And so I'm like, with everything going on, I really just want to wrap up the baseball season and be like, all right, we're done. And I did have to have the discussion with Trevor about he's wanted to do basketball, and I told him that as of right now, I personally do not feel comfortable with him playing basketball because I want him and Leighton to play basketball, but I don't feel comfortable with it right now, and that we'll see about it next year. So
Being an indoor sport, yeah.
he was let down about it, but I told him that I did not feel comfortable. I wanted him to be safe and everything, and so he was like, okay.
Without I, without going into where you are or anything like that, because we don't give out that information. But what did you guys decide about trick or treating on Saturday?
We stayed in.
We stayed in as well, and Sam got to watch Hocus Pocus for the first time.
Oh, wow. We did
Nice.
too. It was like we watched Hocus. We put Hocus Pocus on. But it was a case of we sat in the living room. Lights were out. No lights. Like we did everything possible. Be like, nobody is here. Do not come to our door. Like the only decoration we had was a pumpkin outside, and I brought that in and put it on the back porch, so that way no one mistook like, oh, they've got a Halloween decoration up. Let's go check. And I was like, no, there was nothing to indicate that there were even people in the house. More or less, yes, come to our door, come and trick or treat and everything. So no, nothing. We didn't go out, nothing. And there
My-
were a lot of people out in the neighborhood, and I'm just going, nope.
We didn't have like anybody out, so
So Mom is gone again. She's gone up to Nana's to start cleaning out the house.
right.
And so the old man shut off all the lights and everything because where they live they don't really get trick-or-treaters anyway. But they still get occasionally, you know, a few here and there. So he shut everything off and was sitting in his chair watching TV, and he hears ding dong, and he goes, "All the lights are off. You can piss off." And he keeps watching TV, and he hears ding dong, and he's like, "Are you serious right now? I'm not getting up." And he goes, "Ding dong," and then he hears, and he goes, "That's got to be family." And he gets up and opens the door. Yep, it's family. Even family can't take a damn hint. It's like I'd have just let him ring the doorbell until they got tired and went away.
Well, that was what I was wondering. I was like, are they? These were super persistent. I mean, like, do your parents give out like the big old Snicker bars or something? It's like, no, you will go to that house and you will ring that doorbell until they give you one of those Snicker bars. By golly.
Yeah, it was the boy with his youngest daughter. She wanted to come by and see, as she called him when she was little, Uncle Todd. Todd and Hannah when she was really little. Parents' names are Claude and Linda, but Todd and Hannah. But if you tell her that's what she called them, she'll be like, "I never said that." Because that's how that works. But anyway. So, Mike?
Let's see. A couple weeks ago, I happened to play Among Us for the first time.
What?
Yeah. With some of Ashley's friends. Some of Ashley's friends from grad school have a thing on Friday evenings where people get on a call, and usually they just get on a call and chat for a while, but sometimes they play games. And a couple weeks ago, we ended up playing Among Us.
You do
And it
know
was
that
fun.
puts you on the hook to play with me and our group at some point.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I'm just throwing that out there. There will be a revolt.
Yeah.
But there will also
I'd
be a revolt against you not playing with us. But bump.
But yeah, and it was really fun. It was really interesting too. I mean, in the vast majority of the games we played, I was the first one to get murdered, so that was a bit of a drag. But then, but then my vengeful ghost could go around and do jobs without anyone bothering me, so that was nice. Yeah, I'm sure it was because my first instinct was to just go wander off on my own and start doing tasks and not really pay attention to things. So of course I got stabbed immediately.
That is how that works, yeah.
Yeah.
So in one of our 2 weeks ago, I think,
Mhm.
we were playing, and Star, cute neighbor chick, died first. Something like 4 or 5 games in a row. And she kept being so mad. And then in the last game of the night, I rolled imposter. And I went, yes! And I hopped in a vent and was venting around to see if I could find anything worth doing. And I found Star by herself, way far away from everyone. And I was like, I can't kill her first again. Jesus. Yeah, I can. And I jumped out, cut her in half, went back in the vent, popped out where I was. And a little while later, someone found her. Oh, she was mad at me.
I bet.
I was like, how come you were down there by yourself? She's like, because the last 3 times that I tried to stick with someone, they killed me. I went, you need to be a better judge of character. And I thought she was going to stab. This is like the next day when we were talking. I thought she was going to stab me, so I took a step away.
Good choice.
Oh, it's so much fun. when you're just playing like for fun. Like we had a guy join us last week who was like one of the hardcore players.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I think we should institute some rules about who talks first, and I'm like, no. And he almost busted me because we had I mentioned at the very first day I was an imposter, and I mentioned that I was standing on a vent doing wires, and my butt was clenched the whole time. I'm an imposter, so I didn't care, but I said that to make it sound, more impressive. And right at the very end, he goes, "Wait, you can't get that wires task first." And I covered roll. I was like, "No, that was second." And he's like, "What?" And then time was up, and we didn't. He didn't have time to follow up. But I was like, "Great! Here's one of those people who studies the game and knows all the possible outcomes of everything. Son of a bitch! I have to kill him next." And then I think my other imposter friend killed him. But still. But, like, he was, like, nothing against him in particular, but his approach to the game made it less fun for the rest of us. Bill, when we were talking afterwards, he was like, wow, that's like if you're sitting around playing a 60-card, goofy casual game with someone, and a dude rolls up with the deck that just won the last Pro Tour, and then annihilates you. I was like, yep, that's exactly what it's like. So, yeah. It's one of those things. I don't know where all that story came from. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over your final thought. But my point was, it's a lot of fun to just play with a bunch of other, like, goobers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 10th Tech said he was at 12, and we play at maybe a 7 at most. Exactly. I wouldn't even have gone as high as 7 for us, honestly. Anyway. So is that it for you, Mike? Mike?
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm done.
Okay. Anything I would have said here, I've already talked about. The books I read while the power was out and since, and then stuff I've been playing lately. Hades is really good, by the way. Movies. Earlier today, I watched Edge of Tomorrow for the first time.
Never seen that.
It's really good.
Is that the one with Tom Cruise?
It is. It's it's oddly enough, I was looking it up because I was just gonna bite the bullet and rent it, and I looked it up on Just Watch, and it's like it's on the TBS app, and I went, TBS has an app, so I looked up how the TBS app works, and apparently you just have to log in through your like television provider, and because cable is included in my my rent, I have cable, even though I don't have a box and I don't use it. I still have an account. Mm-hmm. So I logged in to my cable account, and the TBS app was like, all right, you're good to go. And I went, woohoo! So I watched Edge of Tomorrow.
That's cool.
And then yesterday, Umpex, thank you for that 10 months in a row, 15-month resub. Nice. For anyone that, okay, I won't say likes horror movies. For anyone who thinks that like slasher movies are dumb, there's a movie you should watch. It's called Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And it's a meta slasher movie. So in this world, some like graduate students, I think they're graduate students, are doing a documentary about, so in this world, the slasher movie icons are real people. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, all of those, they're real people. And this reporter and her two crew guys, or like I said, I think they're grad students, I'm not sure, get an interview with a guy who claims he's going to be the next big thing, and he explains everything he does, all the tropes, like the whole final girl thing, all of that, and it's really good. I hate like stupid slasher movies, and this was brilliant. Like, I highly recommend it. It's on Prime at the very least. So yeah, go look that up. Especially if you like horror movies but don't like slasher movies. Or if you do like slasher movies, I'm sure it'll be even better. But it works great for people that don't, obviously, because it worked great for me. So, highly recommend that one.
I saw Knives Out.
Oh my god, it's brilliant.
For the first time, and I loved almost every minute of it. The only thing I had a problem with was a certain character's accent being so distracting. I'm like,
What,
but
Benoit
otherwise,
Blanc?
no. Yes. I know that they couldn't just have him talk, in his normal voice, because everybody's gonna be like, oh look, it's Bond. We get it's Bond, but it was a little distracting. But the story itself, fantastic. The acting was spot on by everybody, and just awesome. I think you had said before that it was great, and I saw that it was on Prime. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, and Carrie and I loved it. Well, I loved it. I think she liked it pretty well too.
It's one of the 2 movies that we've watched twice for watch parties. And the other one is Clue. The second time we watched them both, we watched them on the same night, actually. Because what could possibly go better together than Clue and Knives Out? I'll tell you what, nothing! Ooh. Hey, Brian, if you want another movie with Daniel Craig doing a different accent that's also really good, I recommend Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky, okay.
It's a heist movie.
Okay.
With rednecks and NASCAR. No, I'm not kidding. But it was really good too.
Okay.
Yay. But okay, so everyone, be safe. I would have said go vote, but it's a bit late for that. So I hope you voted. And check to see if you mailed it in. Check to see if it's been counted or if there's a problem. You can do that. You could Google it. Although by the time most of you are hearing this, it'll probably be too late. I think the deadlines are coming up soon for most states. But you should still do it. Google your state and like how to check your ballot. And it'll direct you to it. Because if your ballot wasn't counted and they haven't been able to contact you, your vote won't be counted. And that's not how voting works. So get on that. And yeah, be good to each other, everybody.
Yes.
Please. Everything sucks all the time. So just be good to each other. It's the little things.
Here.
When for instance, when the power went out, I bought a burrito for 1, 2, 3 of the neighbors, just because. 2 of them are like, money's tight. Oh my god, what happens if we have to throw away the food in our freezer? I was like, well, you want a burrito? So yeah, it's the little things. Look out for each other, for God's sake. But with that, we'll be done. So this has been the Manipool number 604. Wow, it's been a long time since we did a show. Because last week I didn't have power, and the week before that we just hopped online and did a stream where we talked mostly politics, it turns out. And then the week before that we didn't have a show. So I think this is the first episode in almost a month. Sorry about that. Last week was a fluke, though. Can't hold that one against us. because it's not like I could just go over to Mike's house and we could record it all, because I'm the one that does all the recording and everything. So, yeah. But apologies again for not doing a bunch of these cards last week. I blame Zeta?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which in turn is caused by climate change, so I blame the white people. But okay, so this has been episode 604 of the Mana Pool. What? Oh no! The white people want their revenge. What was that? I just choked on nothing. Okay, so thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play some Magic. Okay, quick, hang up before something awful happens.